Hello everyone! It's been a while, sorry about that. But I had a trip to England for the VeXPO, the VTuber convention in Birmingham last weekend, and then I took some days in London as well, so that's why I've been gone. I believe I did mention that before going away, so you did have a heads up. But I am back now. So today, hang on, let me just we might have a bit of scuff today because I'm still getting into things. Also, I have a lot of actually experienced quite a lot of things. I did take a few photos that I will be sharing with you today. Although I don't have any photos from the convention itself because I am a scrub who forgets to take pictures of things. But I did take pictures of the rest of my trip, basically, at least parts of it. And then later we will be playing some video games. Not quite sure if we'll be doing RuneScape or if we'll be doing Lies of P. Also, I think... Yeah, my model's lagging a little bit. My computer is not doing too well. It's not on fire yet, so that's okay, I think. Anyway, how are you doing, my darlings? It's been a while. I hope you've been doing well. So yeah. First and foremost, as the keen-eyed among you may have noticed, my profile picture has changed. When I was at VeXPO, I met an amazing artist and commissioned her. So yeah, just to show you the image as well, I got this amazing piece from Starlight Delight. You can find the handle in the about section. But yeah, this is so amazing. Definitely recommend checking out if you need anything commissioned. So yeah, this is so awesome. So that's the first interesting thing I want to share with you. Second of all, I am still working on some things behind the scene. Exciting things I will not disclose yet because secrets. Also, is the audio good? But yeah, I did have a good trip to the UK. And it was nice to escape from the heat of Southern Europe. It was definitely needed. Also, some of you may have noticed, we have a cat on stream now. This is my little personal helper called Omen. Introduce yourself, Omen. Yeah, there you go. Omen is our little helper, my personal assistant in the stream. He will greet people as they come in and, well, shout out whatever shout outs are needed, so hell yeah. And like that, Omen will just be sleeping until he's required. Because he's a cat. Cat sleeps in, cat just sleeps all the time, so... Speaking of cats, my own cat, she was very upset at me for having been away for almost a week. Actually not almost, it was actually a whole week. Yeah, it was a whole week. And actually felt a lot longer, it almost felt like I've been gone for a month, even though it was only 7 days, I think. So yeah. I would love to be able to bring her with me on my journeys, but it's a bit of a hassle, and asking her to leave her territory and such is just not... Yeah, it's just not ideal, no matter how you look at it, unfortunately. So anyway, let's share some pictures. Hopefully this works. Yeah, okay, so I arrived first day last week in London, and then I took the train from Euston Station to Birmingham and checked in on my hotel, and by then it was already evening and such, so I just chilled in the hotel, got some food, and then I had breakfast. Just, you know, good old English breakfast with baked beans. I think it's baked beans, or at least the beans and tomato sauce, basically. Some sausages, some eggs, and scrambled eggs and such. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I love it. I think that's the best thing about staying at hotels. The breakfast. And then Friday, I went to Leamington. And I've never been there before, but it is a location that has caught my eye because I may or may not want to potentially move there in the future if circumstances allow it. We'll see. So it's actually quite close to Birmingham. It was like, I don't know, 15-20 minutes or something like that with the train, so not too bad. From the international Birmingham station, that is. If you're going from, like, what's called New Street, I think the other station was called. It might say a bit longer, but not that much longer. Anyway, I'm rambling. The moment you get out of the station at Leamington, you actually come to this nice little canal. And this actually goes all the way to Warwickshire. Warwick City, which is it's about an hour walk, but you can go all the way along the canal, so that's nice and lovely. And let me just tell you, I absolutely needed to be in nature like this, because down here in Southern Europe, where I live, it's kind of barren. We do have some trees here and there, but in the city I live in, there's like no canals, no rivers. We have one false lake in the park, which, I mean, is better than nothing, but the park itself is very, like, it's a very nice park we have here, but it is very artificial, because, like, it seems like every tree is planted there for a reason, which is not necessarily an issue, but it's a bit artificial compared to nature. And, like, being from Scandinavia, where we have, like, a lot of lush forests and such, I mean, it's nice to be back in a climate I'm more familiar with. So yeah, this is the canal just outside of Leamington Station towards Warwick. And as you walked along, getting closer to the outskirts of Warwick, I saw this bridge, which is like, look at this nice view, and I mean, wait, how do I assume it is? Sheep. The sheep. I haven't seen sheep in so long. I'm back to the place I used to live in, back in Scandinavia. Literally at the top of the hill where I lived, there was like, there were cows, and if you went the other direction, you would have sheep. So I don't see any of that around where we live currently. So it was nice to go a bit out in the country to see these things. Next up, pardon the construction work, but that is Warwick Castle. There's a nice, I mean, I was told, and can also see, like, if it wasn't because of the scaffolding, this would be a very nice vantage point, which is just by St. Nicholas Park in Warwick. There was actually some kind of carnival in the park. I didn't take any pictures because there were too many kids around. I didn't really want to. Yeah, I didn't want to have a picture filled with kids. So, but it was actually a very nice park. So if you ever happen to be in that region, I definitely recommend going. I don't know whether the carnival was a like a permanent thing, if it's just because of a certain event. I don't know, but regardless, it was a nice little park. And there's actually underneath this bridge, as you can see, like there's a little bit of water, a river. I think there's actually the River Avon, which goes down to Stratford as well. In the park, you could actually borrow some canoes and, for lack of better term, swan boats and dragon boats and such. But like, you could rent them and they go for a small sail down the river, and you would then be able to see the castle from the river. I didn't want to do that because I don't. First of all, I was traveling alone at this location. Second of all, I don't know how to row a boat proper, at least not alone. And third, I do not want to be liable of any damage because I straight up just can't afford to repay the damage deposit and everything. So yeah. But if I go again, then I would probably consider that. And if you go from like the bridge in this direction, that's towards the like the right direction of this picture. That will be towards the St. Nicholas Park and Warwick itself. And then you will find this nice little street, which just looks so absolutely cozy. I don't actually know what the street is called, but if you go to the end of this street, then you find a place called Mill Garden, or the Mill Garden, I guess, which is a it's kind of like a as far as I understand, at least, it's a privately held garden, but it's open to the public for a fee of £3, which goes to charity. So I figured, why not? And as you can see, it has a very serene and tranquil location and view over. I think this bridge here bridge-like thing might actually once have been something related to the castle, but I could be very wrong. And from the Mill Garden, you can actually see the castle up close. This is the best way you're gonna get apart from being on the river itself. So, but yeah. And one thing I did notice when looking at Google Maps was that the castle seemed to have something close to it called the Night Village, which apparently is kind of like a camping site kind of thing, where you could rent a lodge or whatever, and then you could actually stay in the Night Village close to the castle and such. Seems like a cool adventure in itself. And I also saw people walking around up on the what's been called the palisade or whatever. So it's also possible to get into the castle apparently. More view of the castle from Mill Garden. And the Mill Garden, I also found this little sundial. Yes, I was out in the sun. It was horrible, but I lived. This one is by Arthur and V. Meshes. Yeah. And you can see I was there around noon. So, speaking of the sun, I actually did get sunburnt, so sad. But yes, I was wearing sunscreen. I just forgot some spots on the shoulders apparently, so yeah, I became partial lobster vampire during my trip. So do with that information as you will. Just some more pictures from Mill Garden. It was absolutely beautiful. If you ever happen to be in that region, I would heavily recommend going there for a small picnic. So, Water Castle. Okay, on my way back to Leamington, I walked along the canal again, same way I had come from. But this time I took a turn near something that, according to the sign, points towards Victoria Park, I believe it was called, alongside the Riverside Walk, which is this pathway I was walking on here. And then I found this little thing, which looks, I mean, it looks interesting. I took a picture of it. It looks interesting. Apparently it's called the Princess Drive Where, I think it's pronounced. I don't know. Don't know exactly what it actually is, but it's a thing. Where was this? Yeah, so I walked through Victoria Park, didn't actually get any pictures, but it seemed like a very nice park in itself. It did have quite a lot of like, it had a lot of activities. Like, there was a skate park, there was actually also a small pool. There were playgrounds, of course, there were football fields and other sports fields and such. So it seems like a very nice activity to, like, if you went there with friends and family in Victoria Park in Leamington. But after that, like if you continue eastwards out of the park, you reach I think it was oh, what's that game called? The one where you throw like some balls and try to hit other balls, not bowling. Petang, I think. There was actually a big clubhouse for that, apparently. And past that, I found this bridge here, leading towards the actual city through a park. And I mean, this is just so tranquil. I really miss living in areas like this. I think it was called the Purple Room Gardens or something like that. And the other side of the bridge, like, just generally speaking, a very nice area. And then out this little crossing, which made me happy. But I'd say coming out from the Pump Room Gardens towards Leamington City. So yeah. And then I just went around a little bit in the city. There was actually a lot of elephants statues in the city. I'm not quite sure why, but I think there's something about Leamington culture. But I just walked a bit around the city, visited a Warhammer store, but did not purchase anything. I had restraint. And then I went back. This is the tunnel beneath the station, and I found it very interesting that it has like all sorts of but it has color palettes. I'm not entirely certain what exactly these palettes mean, but it's probably something you can find around the city. Like these color palettes can probably be found somewhere around the city, which is interesting, I think. Yeah, I just wanted to share that there's like a color palette exhibition, for lack of a better word, in a tunnel beneath Leamington Station, which is silly, and I love it. Okay, so this was Sunday actually. Saturday I spent at the convention. I met actually the evening of Friday after I got back from Leamington. I went back to the convention where there was a concert. And I kind of wish I'd taken pictures in hindsight, but I didn't. But where we had like there was a opening concert for weekend tickets and well priority and Akatsuba, I think it's called. The the priority tickets basically. It was a very good concert. Definitely got to meet a lot of new VTubers, which I do not recall at the top of my head. One moment. So I was trying to find the leaflet from the convention center so I could see who was performing, but I can't seem to find it. Because I have made a mess after packing, or unpacking that. Where would I put that? Maybe my cat stole it. Wouldn't be beyond her. Oh well, anyway. But yeah, it was, I think, I know it was opened by AuraGX, who opened the entire show, and if there's one thing I learned about AuraGX is that she's definitely not a cat, apparently, despite the cat is. There's a funny clip about that. Search for one on Twitter, probably. But yeah, there was a concert Friday evening, and during my trip to Leamington, I actually walked like 18 or close to 19 kilometers. So I was quite tired. Wait, how much is that in miles? I don't know, I mean the mile size, doesn't matter. 18 kilometers, almost 19. So I was pretty tired Friday. Saturday, actually let's go back to this beautiful picture here. Yeah, so Saturday I just went to the convention, mingled a bit with some of the artists in the artist gallery. And that's where I met Starlight Delight and Small Latte, who had a booth, and I purchased a little bit of merchandise from them. They were super nice. I know Lottie is actually streaming herself, also a VTuber, Succubus. I'm actually not sure where the Starlight Delight is streaming, but she was the one who drew the commission of my new profile picture. This one. Yeah. And then I also just yeah, I just walked around the convention, and well, there were a couple of my Oshis present actually at the convention. I will not name their names. Wait, no, actually, they would have mentioned being there, so I think it's okay. But I actually met Apricot and Katie, Obi Katie Cat, and they gave me autographs, which yeah, cool. But no, they are super nice people. At least that's the feeling I got from them. So super nice people. Actually, also met Kuro. I don't know where that was. Saturday. It must have been Saturday, I think. Anyway, but yeah. Then I also met some of the other people. I met Siren, Bipsy, and Jericho as well. So they all seem like super nice people. So I would say if you don't know them, go check out the streams. So yeah, but Saturday was basically just like going to panels, going to concerts and such at the event, and there was actually a premium concert in the evening of Saturday, where VTubers like Iron Mouse and Min Phantom would be doing a performance. And sadly, I was a second-class citizen at the convention because I did not have the priority ticket or anything, so I could not get into that concert, sadly. But mark my words, next year I will be there as well. Right. But yeah, it was a very good experience. Everyone was so nice, and yeah. Right. There was also a lot of people from a VTuber agency called Glippy, who seemed to kind of be somewhat co-hosts. They also seem super cool people. Okay, Sunday, the final day of the convention. So one thing I would say was a bit of a bummer throughout the entire event, although no fault of the VeXPO event owners themselves. But one thing I found rather annoying was that pretty much all the food stalls, it's called, right? Yeah, pretty much everything in the convention center was closed. I think there was one Subway and the Witherspoons open. That was it. So I had to go to Resorts World, which was like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes walk away, which it's not too bad. As another way there, because I found this abomination. Apparently it was the Bear Grylls Adventure Park or something, I don't know. Earlier on today, I actually saw people like walking around this, and it's actually kind of funny because I was thinking to myself when I was walking, like just going for a round of walk and just shower thoughts and everything, like, oh, it would actually be very cool if there were kind of like agility courses like in RuneScape, but in real life. And well, here you have it. I did not go up to it because let's just say that my clothes were not suited for this kind of activity, with wearing dresses and such. So, not to mention, it was rather hot. So, yeah, this is also just a part of the trip towards the resort world. Nice little lake here. And then, yes, you can see my legs here. But then, Sunday evening, after the convention was over, I went to the Sky Bar, which was also at the Resorts World, to get some food. And And I had also heard some whispers that other convention goers would eventually go there for an after party. So that was part of the reason I actually went there, because it's like, well, should I just go be a herd in my hotel room or something? I'm like, nah, I should probably go mingle with people. I've been completely antisocial throughout the entire event, apart from speaking with Fruit and Katie for a bit. Doing the meet and greet, not that I was hanging out with them or anything, just meet and greet. But I went there, and it was definitely a very posh place compared to what I'm used to, but I'm not complaining. And as I was there throughout the evening, I did actually meet some other people from the convention who were having an after party, and I met some cool people there. I just hung out and chatted, had some drinks, and yeah, it was a good ending to the event. I think one thing I would have loved to see from the event would be like an official closing ceremony, because there wasn't really any. It was just kind of like, okay, it's 5, everyone leave, kind of thing. So just that thing. Because I recall last year when I went to Anime League, the Anime League I think it was called Anime League. But yeah, the Anime League convention in London. There was an official after party. I don't recall exactly what they were calling it, but it was kind of like a rock metal after party, which was so damn cool. It was a very good time, like the good old classics from like early 2000s, and some Dragon Force, and yeah, it was amazing. I kind of wish there was something like that for VeXPO, but hey, it's their first year. They have a lot to learn. It was actually a very successful first event, I would say. Not flawless, but pretty damn good. But yeah, that's it. This is a sky bar with a nice view. And then then Monday, I took a trip to London, and Monday was 31 degrees Celsius in London, and it was way too hot to do anything. And I had swapped my nice hotel room for a shitty hotel room. I didn't even have an air condition, so I was just perishing throughout Monday. But Tuesday was a bad day. Tuesday I actually went to Brighton because I had some things planned to do there. And on the way, I actually took the train from Blackfriars Station, which is you can see here. I believe this is London Bridge. You can see in the distance here. I could be wrong, but I think it is. And I actually forgot to go see Big Ben again. Oh well, next time. But yeah, it's a nice view of the Thames. And then I didn't take any pictures of being in Brighton because I had kind of already been there, and I said it was kind of on a business, so I didn't have too much time to just wander out doing sightseeing because I have been there. But hey, I got some fish and chips, the nation's favorite even, apparently. Yes, I know this is an absolute cursed abomination, but hey, at least I didn't get any bees in my coat, so. But no, it was good fish and chips. I got it from the pier, like actually underneath the pier, in Brighton. So yeah, but it was rather hot to sit in because I didn't choose. V, welcome in. How are you doing, my darling? And welcome in, Raiders. What are you up to today? I think I saw you play V Rising. Petra. Yeah, hi Ken, welcome in. Yeah, I'm just going through my my trip from the UK. I went to VeXPO, so hi Kurt. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening and enjoying your weekend. Yeah, and well, here's my lovely lunch from Brighton. Good old fish and chips. Next up, I actually went to London Zoo and went to see the Gorilla Kingdom. Now, I am very, very bad at identifying monkeys, but this is definitely a monkey. I don't know which kind of monkey, but it's a monkey. Um, and there were also penguins at the zoo. I actually like how it's actually quite interesting because the penguin beach, as they called it, was kind of like Chilean inspired. So they had like signs in Spanish and stuff, which was like, that's not what I would expect from a penguin beach, but I'm not judging. No, that's nice. And these are definitely penguins. More penguins. More penguins. They're going for a swim as well. We gotta go. All right. We thank you so much for raiding and enjoy your meal. Yeah. Cheers. You're looking amazing. But yeah, penguins were. I mean, penguins are always just fantastic. So there's not a monkey. This one was in kind of like the they had I think Sri Lanka based exhibition area, which had like whatever this kind of avis or monkey, I guess, and the lions and such. Yeah, monkey. And this is a coati. It is not a monkey. I'm actually not quite sure what this is, but it's a coati. And some slender-tailed meerkats, and when I saw them like this, I think they're sleeping. Just like, yeah, me too. Because I think at this point, this was Wednesday, and I had already walked probably more than 42 kilometers throughout the week, which to some people doesn't sound like a lot, but to others, like me, it is a lot, and my feet were hurting. I actually kind of felt like I had broken one of my toes, which I have not, I just walked so much that I felt like it. And then I found ferrets! I think it's actually a little bit of shame that the enclosure for the ferrets was such like it's almost too close in. It's very hard to even see the ferrets. Like you see a ferret here and a ferret. I think there's a ferret there, right? Yeah, there's a ferret. But it was a nice little enclosure where they could definitely run around. And there's some ferrets somewhere in this picture. And I caught them just at feeding time. I think the zookeeper said they had 3 albino ferrets. And one of them, like the rest of them were being fit inside the carrier boxes, but one of them was for some reason not being fit inside the carrier box, but being fit in a flower pot. I don't know why, but it's kind of adorable to see this ferret in a flower pot. Next up, I went to Africa, the African part of the zoo, where they had. Wait, no, this is not the African part, not yet. But well, there's the camel, as you can see. And one thing I came to realize, because I hadn't until Wednesday, I hadn't been at a zoo for more than 10 years, I think, more or less. And one thing I'd completely forgotten about zoos is how it just smells of dung. And not to mention all the screaming kids. So it was a little bit overwhelming to my senses, but it was an overall good trip. Also, this is an owl. It was giving me the cold shoulder. I didn't do anything to it, I swear. It was just like that when I found it. And then I found the lions. Look at it, it's so cute. It's friend-shaped. And this is the vulture enclosure. There's a vulture somewhere. There, I think. There's a horrible picture. Did I mention I'm not very good at taking pictures? Anyway, this is the vultures, and no, I don't know why the enclosure was filled with feathers all around it, but I can't actually see any vultures, but Trust me, they were in there. And then I found some lions. I believe these are actually 8 months old, I think they were. If I recall correctly from the signs. But yeah, but they were just chilling. Look at them. So adorable. Very big cats. 10 out of 10. And then I found a dragon. A dragon. Marvelous creatures. I love reptiles. I don't think I would ever want to have a reptile myself because we kind of need to feed them insects and such, which I don't want to deal with that, to be honest. So, but they look cool. And another monkey. I don't know which kind of monkey this is either, but it's a monkey. Might be a lemur, maybe not. I don't know. It's a monkey. And this is a Malagasy giant jumping rat from Madagascar, apparently. It was inside of a... this is actually something that made me very sad when I went to the zoo, because in Copenhagen Zoo, which is one I used to frequent, I would say frequent, but the one I used to go to like once every couple of years back in the days, they had like a whole inside section dedicated to a large variety of bats. I didn't find any bats at all in London Zoo. I believe they have fruit bats somewhere, but I could not find them, which made me very sad. So we have to settle for a giant jumping rat. It doesn't have wings, but it's close enough, I guess. But no, this was kind of like the nighttime area where they had like a lot of... That's the thing, like it's actually very hard to see empty creatures, even though they had the red light to help. But even though it was still very hard to actually see any of the animals, but it's all different, so... And then I went to Galapagos and found my turtle, tortoise, I think. And this is another thing I had completely forgotten about zoos, but I mean, of course they have like some sections of the zoo where like the climate is different to accommodate the animals, which obviously they should do. But damn, is it uncomfortable to go in there. This one was very, very humid and hot. It was not nice, but if the turtle likes it, that's worth it then. And this one I know, this Magaby monkey. I only know that because there's a sign right here, but hey, it's a monkey. And oh right, yeah. So this monkey that's kind of like shaking the other one for bucks or whatever. It was kind of funny. I didn't get a picture of it sadly. But at one point, this monkey, it stood up and showed its butt, and the other monkey was just kind of like, was staring at it. It was so funny. I wish I had caught it on picture, but sadly, my phone is a potato, not quick enough to react. And this is a black-capped squirrel monkey. It is hiding its head, but it is there. And as you can see, it is kind of yellowish, but it has a black cap kind of thing. Hence the name. Don't know why squirrel though. But I'm not a zoologist. It was hiding. And then we went to the African part with the ostriches and giraffes. They were being fed. And some zebras, it was also feeding time for them. And I'm not actually quite sure what this is. It's not an okapi, but it's some kind of deer, I think. I'm not sure. But then I spotted the okapi. They are truly marvelous creatures. They're kind of like, they're basically cryptids, I feel like. Look at it. So majestic, so mysterious. And then I spent my final evening. I figured I might as well just treat myself. It's my last day in London. So I figured I went to a place called the Rooftop Gardens, fairly close to to the Piccadilly Circus, I believe it was. Yeah, that's the Piccadilly Circus. What a nice view over London. And then it's at night, and just look at the eye, it's shining. Yeah, it was a bit expensive, but I felt like it was worth it. Because it was my last day before having to go back Thursday. And at the airport, I actually ended up arriving 4.5 hours prior to my flight. So when I was checking in my luggage, I just thought, hey, can I get on an earlier plane, please? And I could, so that was nice. I got home like an hour and a half earlier than otherwise anticipated, which my cat was very happy for, and me too. So yeah, that is my London and Birmingham and Brighton and Leamington trip. It was a good trip. It was definitely a well-needed break to get a bit away from this heat that we have down here, and also just to see some nice nature compared to whatever urban jungle I live in here. And I mean, as my flight was about to land, and I was looking out the windows, and just the entire countryside where I live is just yellow and barren. It's so sad to look at, really. So, but hey, it is what it is. I'm not saying that it's necessarily about habitat or anything. It's just not for me. But yeah, that was my trip in pictures. I wish I had taken some more pictures from the convention itself, but at the same time, I mean, I don't like getting my picture taken. There would be a lot of VTubers there, so I didn't really want to risk getting anyone in the photo they didn't want to be in. So, but I'm definitely going next year as well, if I can. So yeah, I did also get a bit of merch, which is a bit not safe for work, so I will not be showing it.